Patanjali is very scientific. He used a word that he is a guru of all gurus, because he represent to the to the Ishvara. So Ishvara is, because Ishvara is beyond the time, existing beyond the time.
Yes.
So there is also, if you go into Hindu mythologies or Hindu system,
yes,
there is one god is Shiva. Shiva, one name is also Mahakala.
yes,
The word Kala means time, Maha means greatest.
yes,
So greatest time, which is simply representation of which is beyond time. So Shiva is who is beyond time.
yes,
So it's the same thing. Shiva is Ishvara, according to them. Shiva is not a human body, not something. Another meaning in Sanskrit dictionary of the word Shiv is which do not exist. Shiv means which do not exist, which is not. But what is not? Myself is not there. If I will be free from the self image completely,
yes,
it means I become free from my past conditioning completely.
yes.
So I become Shiv. I become limitlessness. I become Mahakala. I
Yes.
become Ishvara.
Again, to understand this in practical terms for daily life, right? Throughout the sutras, I always try to connect with practically for applicable for you,
Right.
for me. What would that kind of existence look like if I have the idea of the supreme consciousness? I surrender to that and I rotate that idea in my mind, in my consciousness again and again.
How it look like?
What would that life look like? Again, would you be able to even function?
Yeah.
Would you want to function at all? Would you just stop all?
You become functioning at that time. There is not somebody who is functioning. There are two things. There is one who is functioning. So function look different. Actions look different than the actor.
Yes.
But then you become actions.
Yes.
Now the next sutra is saying, sutra number 27, your answer perhaps will be there. Tasya vachaka pranava. Tasya means to that, vachaka means representation, pranava means om.
Yes.
The representation of that is om. If you want to know how it looks like, so it looks like simply a universal sound. Om means universal sound. So how it looks like? It looks like a universal sound, the sound of universe. Sound is not only, here if I use the word sound, it is not only the sound that we hear through ears.
Yes.
Sound means simply a sensation of energy.
Right.
Any energy, right? So it becomes a universal energy, means you start feeling the universe. You become universe, simply. So here he used the word pranava. Pranava often represented as an om. Om is a sound, right? It is not a word. It's a symbolic representation of universal sound.
Yes.
Like there is a Samkhya philosophy. Samkhya philosophy says about Om. Om is a sound which is a sound of creation.
Yes.
Right? And it says the creation is about, if we go into the consciousness level, if you go into Purusha and consciousness, so our consciousness, where it exists, our consciousness exists in past, future, and present.
Yes.
If our consciousness is in past and future, it is mind. If it is in present, it is awareness.
Right.
Right. So this whole is a movement of my consciousness. Samkhya philosophy says the sound of past, future, and present all together is Om.
Wow.
All together, the sound is Om. And that is a representation of Ishvara. I mean, if we see the Hinduism and Buddhism, they look quite different ideologies and, religion.
Yes.
But they both agree with this Om. If you see the Buddhist mantras also starts from Om.
Yes.
And here in Hinduism, mantras starts from Om. The Salam is also like identical of Om. Salam, Amin, Amin.
Yes.
These all are identical of Om. Because Om is what? We need to understand what is Om. If we understand our consciousness as a sound, like my consciousness is a sound, my past, future, my words and everything, right? If we try to find out what is the basic sound, the first sound of the existence, when existence is the creation of existence taking place, what is the first sound? So the Big Bang Theory, if we go into Big Bang Theory, when the electromagnetic waves came, so if we consider the whole sound as this in energies, it comes most close to Om, the first sound. And from the first sound, all other sounds are manifested.
Wow.
Right? So all other words are created by the word Om.
Yes.
Because our consciousness is based on the word which we speak through our vocals, like the words we are speaking right now. This is what our consciousness is filled. My consciousness has nothing but so many words inside.
Yes.
So if I go into the discovery of all the words, most of the words have three basic sounds. Okay, if I tell you that you don't use your tongue at all, what sound you can speak? Not using the tongue only. So I can speak not using the tongue, oo, and right?
Yes.
So it become aum. I can't speak anything else.
Yes.
Because to speak also E, if I want to speak E, still I have to use my tongue. Like I have to like make my tongue with a different twist.
Yes.
E. So I can say oo, So this is a basic sound. In this if I use my tongue, I can create so many different sounds.
Right. Yes.
And my whole consciousness, whole brain, every thought in my mind is filled with this so many words. And each word is somewhere is having ou or or
Yes.
So om is base of every word.
Yes.
In the next sutra, it talks about that as a practitioner, one has to like surrender into the sound. One has to allow the sound to enter in your consciousness through repetition, through chanting of Om.
Right. Yes. But ultimately, this awareness of Om or Aum as the original sound, that
original sound,
the application of that in our lives is what exactly? What's the bridge between knowing that this, having the knowledge about it and actually applying it? Is it basically through chanting, repetitive chanting? How do we actually connect?
I mean, if we will repeatedly, if we will chant it, the Om again and again, what it will bring? Again and again chanting Om will give identity to other words which are in my head. So I will understand all the words are, this is the root of all the words from where all other words are coming. So if I will repeat it again and again, if I can meditate on that sound, which is just Om, which is primal, which is the first sound, Om, right? If I can meditate on that, so I am most close to the truth, because truth is most close to which is first sound, right? So I will be most close to that. So I can see the reflection of God. It's just a way of looking at a reflection of God. And perhaps I can jump from there and enter into the kingdom of God, which is Ishvara.
Wow.
So that's why Patanjali is very scientific. So keep on giving us a way, keep on telling everything about it. So Om is a representation of the God.
Yes.
It represents that, because God is existence is universe. And if we put the whole universe into one energy and we call it sound, then it is Om.
Yes.
And there are also some practices of chakras. So if we focus on the root chakra, Muladhara chakra, root chakra, and second chakra, Swadhisthana chakra. If we focus on first two and we chant right, like and we take a turn to oo, and we go to the heart from down to up.
Yes.
Is a sound of the head, right?
Yes.
If we continuously do like this practice, so it let us become aware about our physical and subtle energies of the body. So I become aware of my physical body plus subtle energies.
Yes.
Because chakra, what is chakra? If you go into it, chakra is a meeting point where my consciousness, which is my subtle energy, and my physical body meets together.
Yes.
That point is chakra. Let's suppose I have something in my head, sadness or something. So sadness is started from the neurons, from the brain, and it feels physically in the heart.
Right. Yes.
right? It's like this. And like fear is felt into the lower belly or belly
Yes.
when the fear is there, right? It's like that.
Right.
So different emotions which is coming, which is my subtle body, I can feel it in physical body. These points are chakras. If I will chant Om, put this universal sound into these chakras, so it
Yes.
will clean my consciousness. My consciousness will be cleaned. I will be most close to the root from where all the sounds are coming, because all emotions are the manifestation of sounds.
Yes. Wow.
That's it.
So, can I just ask you about chanting Om? Because I think, like we've just discussed today, and I've also heard many times, there's the option of either chanting Om, 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 or Aum, Aum.
Oh,
So, is there
yeah.
a difference between the two, or is there one which is more correct than the other, or how? What?
Is correct. Is more correct, because is the first sound that we speak when we come to the world.
Yes.
The first sound that we speak is
Yes.
and then slowly to we reach to like the child cry and speak something and then you start using tongue, then create other words slowly, slowly. So
Yes.
our first basic sound, which is because our sound that we speak, right, it is not different than what others are speaking around me,
Yes.
right? And then if you see what others are speaking around me, my native language or the other language that I learned and what I speak, my consciousness is not different than this, because in my consciousness there are all the time words,
Yes.
the same words, the language I know.
Right.
So if I can become free from this word, I can become, my consciousness get much more space.
Yes. Wow.
And because with each word there is an object, picture of an object
Yes.
also. So this is how my head is full of pictures and words. To
Yes.
become free from it, if I repeat the basic sound which has no picture,
Yes.
this is sound without a picture, so there will be only sound and no picture, which is our goal, to make our consciousness free from the past and future,
Right.
because past future is the pictures
Wow.
with sounds, with words.
Yes.
And if I become free from that, I become free from limitations and I reach to limitlessness, beyond, which is beyond the time limits.
Yes.
I reach to Mahakala. That is what meeting Shiva, meeting Mahakala, or meeting Ishvara.
Again, this meeting and this reaching of this point is
Mm-hmm.
is our consciousness reaching this point. Doesn't mean that we become physically immortal, but our consciousness reaches this point. We
Right.
understand that.
Yeah, because now what I know about myself, it is coming from my past. What I know about myself is coming from my past,
Right.
and I become free from my past completely
Yes.
by reaching to that point. By becoming free, will be only sound, no pictures. So there will be no past, right?
Yes.
If there will be no past, I will see another self of mine, which is immortal, which is my soul, which is my Atma Jnana, soul experience.
Yes. Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Vishu. So now we've really gone very deeply into understanding the source consciousness, how we connect to it through Aum chanting. And like you said, in the coming sutras, we'll go deeper into the understanding of Aum and how to get our connection with the highest consciousness in every way. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Devi.